Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Impact or Hit. I, Joey Styles, Jonathan Coachman, and Aiden English here. And today on Impact or Hit, we're going to see the TWF 24/7 winnings are going to be on stake here today on Impact or Hit. Joey Styles says. Well, that's right, Joey Styles. Jonathan Coachman says Xia Li, the TWF 24/7 fighter, is going to be here today on Impact or Hit. Jonathan Coachman says, you got that right, Joey and Jonathan. Xia Li, the first skilled wrestler to come from the Folkreich of Eastland. If you can call Eastland a Folkreich, it's more of a speakership than a Folkreich. But yeah, she is the first woman to come from Eastland, or the Folkreich of Eastland, which that's its full name, or since nigh between 49 YL or so. And who is she going to be fighting here today? Aiden English says. Well, I can tell you right now, Joey Bell says that that Masco, the one who fought Xia Li yesterday on Dynamite or Might, wants to have another match with her here today on Impact or Hit, Joey Styles says. Well, that can't be too wise on his side, Jonathan Coachman said, since he already lost to Xia Li once. What's he got to show? He's going to lose to her again, Jonathan Coachman says. I don't know, Jonathan Coachman. Joey Styles said he's not too wise to be doing something like that. They know what they say, one meaning of madness is doing something the same way over and over again and then hoping it's going to be unlike, Aiden English says. And then again, I guess that's what Shark Boy and that's what King Valkyrie and Masco were doing, Aiden English says. Alright, Masco goes. Xia Li, you've been a TWF 24/7 fighter ever since, about 3 months ago. So, you only hold for about only 2 months in the third. Well, guess what? Here today, I'm going to win the TWF 24/7 winnings off of you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Like it and deal with it, because there's not really much you can do about it either way. Well, Masco does seem to believe in himself, Joey Styles says. And if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? Goes the old saying. Joey Styles says, yeah, I believe that's how it goes, Jonathan Coachman says. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So I guess Masco, he's got that down right. While Aiden English says, here's Xia Li, and I know one thing she believes in is being the TWF 24/7 fighter and kicking the heads off of anyone that dares to fight her. So, Masco, you want to fight me again for my TWF 24/7 winnings? I guess you didn't learn the last time that we wrestled, and that was yesterday. So you want me to beat you up again here today on Impact or Hit like I did yesterday on Dynamite or Might? Well, I guess you like to put yourself in a bind. Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the TWF 24/7 winnings off of you. Then I'm going to send you back to Eastland, or the Folkreich of Eastland, whatever you want to call it. As the former TWF 24/7 fighter. Well, good luck with doing that. We're gonna see if Astronema or Ecliptor are gonna do anything. Are gonna do anything about this. And here comes Astronema on the ring now. Shit! I can't stand up. Fuck. Oh man. Gonna have to get a stand out. And not that Irwin stand either. Most likely the Mattel stand. Or the Jakks stand. Because I can't stand up in the ring anymore. Hell, I never could. Here we go. Alright, Astronomer says, it seems to me that now I gotta either be on a Jakks stand or a Mattel stand. But here's what we're gonna do. Masco, you and Xia Li don't seem to like each other. And you had a match yesterday and Xia Li beat you for the TWF 24/7 winnings. So, either you like putting yourself in a bind, but alright, that's none of my business. Alright, here today on Impact or Smash, we're going to see Masco the Might Players fight Xia Li for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Winnings that a lot of folks in the wrestling followership scaved, at least scaved WWE's take on it. So that match is going to happen now, says Astronomer, says Corone. Alright, Ecliptor goes. Alright, my elderling. We're going to have that match. We're going to have that fight now. And I don't really care if Xia Li wins or Masco wins. Either way, it's going to be a good match. A good fight, Ecliptor says. Let's do that now. Well, we just heard from Astronomer or Corone, the overseer of leadership of the Toy Wrestling Gathering, which was a rank that TNAW did, at least from 2004 YL to at least, we're going to say at least up into about 2006 YL, and brought the rank back in 2022 YL. Well, this is for the TWF 24/7 winnings. First, he is Masco, and she is the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. Well, first off, what does Masco got to do to keep away from Xia Li and her legs? Joey Styles says. Well, if we knew the answer to that asking thing, Jonathan Coachman says, Masco wouldn't be in this bind, would he? Well, I can tell you what, Aiden English says, there ain't no way that no man or woman, wrestler, fighter, overstar, whatever you want to call him, doesn't have an answer to Xia Li's kicks, Aiden English says. Masco's down already. Xia Li's going to go to cover to get the 1-2-3, Joey Styles says. What a quick match. What a fast match, Jonathan Coachman said. When you're in the ring with Xia Li, it goes fast. It goes quick, Aiden English says. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, and still the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. And Xia Li is out of the ring now. She beat Masco of the Might Players here today on Impact or Smash. Since the word Impact is most likely a Latinist borrowed word, borrowed through Latinist, borrowed through Frenchist into English, the English word would be hit, Joey Styles says. And that's right, Jonathan Coachman says. At the end of the day, we saw Xia Li beat Masco again, Masco the Might Players, which I never seen that show, so I don't know really that much about it. Jonathan Coachman says, to be earnest with you, I never saw that show before. I never saw that show before, so your guess is good as mine. But yeah, Jonathan Coachman said, Masco is from the Might Players. some drawing show, drawing film we haven't seen before. Jonathan Coachman says, yeah, Joey Styles, at the end of the day, Masco came in. He thought he had the answer. He thought he thought today would be his day. And sadly, it did not shift out that way, Joey Styles says. No, it did not, Jonathan Coachman said. Masco, like so many wrestlers, fighters, overstars before him, ended up thinking they were going to beat Xia Li, and sadly, that didn't happen. Aiden English says, I think Xia Li will be the TWF 24/7 fighter for sundriest years, for many years to come. No one really seems to have the answer for being kicked in the side, being kicked by her. Aiden English says, Shark Boy didn't have an answer, King Valkyrie didn't have an answer, and neither does Masco. Well, speaking of that, Gene Okerlund now is going to be talking with Masco of the Might Players. Thank you, Joey Styles and Jonathan Coachman. I'm going to be talking with Masco of the Might Players here today on Impact or Smash. Alright, Masco, we saw you get knocked out again by Xia Li, and you thought you would become the TWF 24/7 fighter. It's like this, Gene Okerlund. Xia Li, alright, I'll give it to her. She's one tough, strong wrestler, fighter, overstar, whatever you want to call her. And need be one of the very first women skilled wrestlers to come from the Folkreich of Eastland. If you can call Eastland a Folkreich, it's more of a speakership. Yeah, it's a speakership, Masco. The folks don't have any say in who the highest leader is, who the first wicker is, who's in their Winnemalt, or even who their high divas are. Yeah. Alright, I don't really care. At the end of the day, I got the freedom to say this. Alright? That Xia Li, I will win the TWF 24/7 winnings from you one day. Alright? And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the Folkreich of Eastland. This is the 4-1 Reichs of Vinland. Or North Vinland, with beers about that. And you can't play all your mind games and all the trolling that they may have told you about the 4-1 Reichs when you were in Eastland. The one thing that they may have lied to you about was you thinking that you could be the TWF 24/7 fighter forever, and that's not going to happen. No one's going to stop me. Not the highest leader of Eastland, not the first wicker of Eastland, and not the Winnemalt, not their House of the Elders, the House of their folks, and not their high divers. Alright? Hell, and if we're being earnest about it, the head leadership follower of Hong Kong in Eastland and the head leadership follower of Macau in Eastland isn't going to help you either. Xia Li, I will win the TWF 24/7 winnings. Well, hopefully, Masco, you become the TWF 24/7 fighter one day, and hopefully, and thank God, we live in the 4-1 Reichs where we got the right to free speech, the right to free news, the right to choose who runs our Gavir Reich, share near law moats, and the right to worship, and many other rights and freedoms that God has given to us that our law moats, shield and uphold. Yes, thank God for that. Thank God we live in a Folkreich and not in a speakership. Well, you got that right, Gene Okerlund. And I will win the TWF 24/7 winnings one day. Well, Masco is still after Xia Li for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Back to you, Joey Styles and Jonathan Coachman. Thank you, Gene Okerlund, for talking with Masco here today on Impact or Hit. And that's all the time we got here. I, Joey Styles, Jonathan Coachman, and Aiden English. We hope you like Impact or Hit, and we'll see you tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown.